Hi friends, good evening. This is Ankit, your host, joining from Delhi, India, and we have Kimberly Calhoun joining us from North Carolina, US. And good morning to America, and good morning to the world. And today is Super Sunday, and we have an exciting shows lining up from kids talk show with Isabella and Rosie, and after that it's a musical day. So we have a lot of musical show coming up, and then we have a chess master discussing the chess moves in between. And we'll start with Kimberly. Kimberly, how are you doing? And happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you, Ankit. I am doing great. Yeah, it's a beautiful Mother's Day too. We were expecting frost last night. I think we got a little bit. Woke up to 40 degrees this morning, sun shining. The way I look at this, everybody goes, "Oh my gosh, we're getting snow in May." I look at this as it killing all the mosquitoes, right? All of the mosquitoes have hatched, and they're sitting there going, "I'm happy, I'm happy." Frost. So all the mosquitoes are gone. So if you're going to look at the silver lining, look at it killing a lot of the mosquitoes, maybe other bugs that we're not very friendly with during the summertime. Hopefully not the bees. Hopefully the bees went into their nest. But how are you doing? How was your day?
I'm doing good. It was a good day. We had a thunderstorm in Delhi, and I mean, mostly in India, basically. A lot of cities and states have rains, and the weather will be remain there for a couple of days. And it suddenly changes on Mother's Day, and it's a good day with good breeze going around. And it's a Sunday, Mother's Day, so people are cooking a lot of good food and enjoying every time with their mother at home, staying isolated. That is what the day is going in India. Apart from that, we have
This is from my garden.
yeah, nice color.
See? Mm. Mother's Day. It always blooms big and beautiful on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day, I intentionally put my name as Ankit Asha Khanelwal. That's my mother's name.
I see. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
So that is very, very beautiful. I would have never thought to do that. How lovely. How special to recognize your mom that way.
And Asha means hope, basically.
Hope.
And Ankit means to collect everything at a single point.
So you're going to collect everything at a single point and hope. There you go. And hope. Hope is a beautiful word. And we're in that mode of hope. People have heard me speak on this. Don't use hope as a strategy, but hope is very important. I try to tell people, I'm not trying to say don't have hope. Hope is very important. Just don't use it as a strategy. Make sure that you've got plenty of things in place. But hope is, and faith, all of these things, we need these now, right? That's our anchor. And so your mom is very very smart in naming you Ankit.
Yeah.
What were you like as a little boy?
But I'll tell you, I mean, it's just a coincidence because I am in my lifespan. I'm trying to connect the dots. Basically, my company name is Watermark, which also is if you do a dig in between. So Watermark also means kind of a stamping thing, and that is also kind of collecting things at one place, which is my name. And whatever I've done so far, it's connected to the name. I mean, I can write a book how I've connected the dots over a period of time.
And that's awesome, because I think, learning how to do that at a very young age is very, very important, right? And you didn't just learn how to do it, you executed it. And Watermark is a perfect name for branding, right? I mean, I just, I'm very horrible at finding branded names. And I think that was perfect for a branding name, a branding company, Watermark. What's your Watermark?
Everyone can connect with Watermark. I mean, you don't have to explain what is Watermark.
Yeah, you don't have to explain it. And nobody else had that name. Yeah. That's what was interesting.
And my company Watermark ends with C as in cat. It's not K.
Right. Mark. Just like we have a Mark Lee whose name ends with a C and not a K. And I have to remember that. And a lot of Marks out there that do that, right, with a C, not a K. But very unique. And your company is amazing. Like the quality of work that you do, the pictures are so vibrant, and they tell the story in like seconds, right?
Yeah.
Which is what a picture should do. A picture should be able to draw a person in and tell the story. And you do that very well. And it's not easy to do. That's probably one of my least favorite things to do in a company. Is I mean, I enjoy, so I see good quality, right? So as the CEO, when somebody brings me something that my mind was saying, I wish it looked like this, I can see it, right? And I get it. But to create it is just very, very, very difficult. So let's just talk about some things. I think that in some places we're seeing some of the world, just, to kind of bring up the news a little bit, we're seeing some flatlining in some countries. Italy, it's a very good day, week for them. They re-entered. Hopefully we'll get good news from them in 2 to 3 weeks that their re-entry went well. The key is to re-enter and have very few new infected cases, right? That's the goal. We truly still believe that testing is probably the best way to re-enter. And I guess I can emphasize this knowing that the White House, the president, all the staff members test daily.
Yeah.
Daily. They may not be enforcing it on the rest of the world or emphasizing it or trying to encourage it, but that's how they work every day. They get tested every day. So I think that if that's how they're working, then we need to engage a policy to do the same thing for the rest of the world, or maybe even just for us. I heard a rumor that Hong Kong was doing really great, and then they kind of opened their international doors again, and they've seen some new cases. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. And Hong Kong was never shut down their air traffic. They have reduced it to 10%, maybe or less than that. And then, to my surprise, I mean, if they are following the protocols and they are doing the testing, how can someone reach Hong Kong and test positive again? That is a surprise thing. And also, because Hong Kong is doing and maintaining this protocol from past 3 to 4 months, so it's a breach. I believe that it's something is not going good, and there might be more people infected, or maybe they're not able to test it because Hong Kong. If you check out the test, they haven't tested the whole population. They just have studies around 20-25% of the population. So maybe because a lot of people have mild symptoms, and I mean over a period of time it becomes a full positive COVID-19 case. But
Well,
but I'll tell you, I mean, Kim, from past 3 weeks, I am just focusing on Russia, and Russia is climbing like anything. If you remember when we used to spoke to Sasha about Russia, they have few thousand cases. Now Russia is having 200,000 cases.
right.
And I have heard that Putin is suffering from Vladimir Putin is also suffering from COVID-19.
So let's take a look at that real quick. Let's take a look at. I've got it right here. I think we're up to, the world is up to 4 million, right?
Yeah.
So if we got 4 million cases right now, and if we take a look at that, over 4 million, 281,000 deaths, active cases. Let's scroll down real quick. Wow. So out of the 4 million, the U.S. is climbing really fast to 1.5 million. But something I've noticed is Italy and the UK have stopped reporting. Have you noticed that? So Italy and there's Russia at the top. 11,000 new cases. Can you hear me? Okay. So anyway, Ankit had to drop off for a second. But anyway, so when I look at these numbers, I'm kind of curious why, because Italy just re-entered, why they've stopped reporting, and the UK, why they have stopped reporting. And maybe I'll find out this afternoon. I'm going to be doing a call with some of those areas today. But I don't understand why they've stopped reporting. But as you see, Russia has leaped to 11,000 new cases. So they're looking like the U.S. did several weeks ago. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's what I mean, if you check out the Russia stats, all these cases are within 3 to 4 weeks. And mostly in last 2 weeks, they have jumped up like anything. and they were nowhere in the picture earlier, and now they are in at I think within top 7.
So
They
these
have crossed
cases,
France and Germany.
I would like to know precisely when the tests were performed, right? So are these from test kits that take 10 to 14 days, or are these from rapid test kits? I also think with the Hong Kong situation, when we were talking earlier, because I've been involved a lot with researching the test kits, the different ones that are available. I think people need to be very, very careful. You know, the original rapid test kits, they were out there just to get the job done fast. They're about 80 to 85% accurate. The swabbing, from what we learned yesterday watching the video of Tony Robinson and his team, Singularity, I think it is, when they swab, they have to make sure that they get the colony of coronavirus that's floating around and that it might not be in the place that they're swabbing. So again, the PCR and swabbing test, which takes 10 to 14 days, could potentially be wrong, even though you have coronavirus. So, you know, it's not 100%. The blood test that tests the immunity, the antibodies inside of us, is probably the better way to do this. It's not particularly focusing in on COVID, but it's going to tell you whether you've had something in the 10 days or not. I say if we're going to get to a test kit where we test maybe on a weekly basis to go back to work so that we can reduce the flare-ups of infection rates, that it needs to be a combination of the three. They do have a swab test now that is available that is apparently a little more rapid than the one that was taking 10 to 14 days. I'm still researching that one as well, but they're saying that that one takes, you know, within 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how true that is. I've also found the site where people can go and check their test kits to see if it's on the FDA EUA list. Okay, folks, and this is very, very important. Okay, FDA is not certifying all of these test kits, but what they are doing, because it is an emergency situation, is people who register with the FDA are put on an EUA list, and that means that they'll eventually get to them to test them and validate them. So they have to be on their best behavior at this point. They weren't already approved yet. They will be getting tested. So in my mind, they're not going to send out any bad or counterfeit test kits, because if they're caught being bad, they're going to be removed from the list real quick.
Yeah.
The FDA has removed from their PPE equipment list already some PPE equipment that has failed to perform. So they've already started removing companies from that list. You can go to the FDA site and find this list if you're just curious and want to know and understand who's on the list and who isn't. And that's going to be very, very important, right, Ankit?
True. And I think all the companies should take the accountability around the world in regards to test kits, PPE, and also vents and other medical infrastructure, because this is the pandemic and we have to think like a world, and we can't talk only about our benefits or our selfishness that I will be earning a lot of $1 trillion, because there is a lot of conspiracy theories going around. There are a lot of theories here in India, and I believe that it's also around the world. And Kim, you remember we had discussed about something on big personalities around the world maybe testing positive soon, and that's happening. So I think I don't know. I mean, but people are trying to save themselves from these kind of fake news, and because this is also very harmful at this point of time, because we have to fight with COVID, and these fake news won't make any sense. And also, I mean, when it comes to test kits and vaccines, there are a lot of news in the market. So you need to be careful with the verified source, and then only you can plan or you can discuss or maybe share your information with others. Because if we are keep on just working on the fake news, we will be losing a lot of time and money as well.
Well, and I think in saying what you've said, I think if they just said, okay, all of you companies have to combine your resources and manufacture the product in every country rather than wait and ship, we would probably have a better plan implemented, and the test kits would be more regulated. And I think that's what needs to boil down to. But they're not doing that because everybody wants to own their own intellectual property. But I think we need to get past the intellectual property, and it needs to be worldly regulated. And as we are speculating now, the facts are that Hong Kong has now experienced some new cases. They had everything under control, but they let their guard down. In my mind, they either let their guard down. I mean, we'll get more story from Rakesh, but either the guard was let down, or like you said, they were breached. And one of the ways that they could have been breached, which is, I would like to know more of the story, is that they could have received bad kits. You can get a bad lot. And but let's talk to Rakesh.
Oh, hi.
Hello, good evening. How are you doing?
Good, I'm good.
So what's going on in your part of the world? What do you have on? Is this?
That's a heating pad. It's got
cold.
It's a heating pad
we no longer have global warming. It's cold outside, isn't it?
I don't know, but I have a bad shoulder, so I put it on.
To talk about bad shoulders, Dr. Yu had a bad shoulder, and he treated it with stem and his laser treatment. He treated himself, and it worked.
Okay.
So we need to talk to him about this down the road as we're doing stem cell Saturday talk shows. And I'm very interested in seeing how that works. But he's got a light laser that helps, I guess, draw the stem cells where they need to go. And it worked. He said his shoulder's fine, no surgery. So
this is a little complicated because two vertebrae, I damaged them when I fell. So that has an effect on my muscles. So that's why.
Okay, yeah. So yours isn't the shoulder. Yours is
it's a sort
back.
of collateral damage kind of thing. But it hurts, so I put on the.
Oh, Rakesh, I am so sorry. That is very, very painful to even think about it.
It got fixed, and then I didn't fall the second time, but I slipped. My heel slipped off one. I think I damaged it again, but it's not major. So I just put it on so that I don't suffer unnecessarily.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, but it's good you found a solution that helps, right? Some people can't find that solution, and maybe we should send you some of those CBD patches. You just put the patch where the inflammation is, and it's worth a try, right? They're only $2. So.
$2 store doesn't operate in Hong Kong. So.
But Rakeshji, we have those tiger patches in Hong Kong. The tiger balm patches.
Yes.
I've seen them in Hong Kong, and it's very useful, I think.
True, but when I put them on, I get a rash because of the diabetes.
Oh, you know what it is? I've learned what that rash is because that happened to me. It's from the glue. It's from the adhesive. So our skins are sensitive to that adhesive type because sometimes they cut corners on the adhesive they use. Okay. Because I used to wear a patch for another drug, and the drug worked great. I wore it for 5 years, never had a problem. And then one day I broke out, and my skin felt like it was eaten, like it looked like acid. It literally.
So if we use it the other side, and then put it a Band-Aid on the other side,
it might, or just cut the adhesive out, right? But yeah, no, it's the new glue they're using because the same thing happened to me, and I wore it for 5 years, not the CBD one, right? But and
I used to use a similar thing in India and in New Zealand, and then suddenly I found that I started getting these rashes. So then my wife got this for me. It's got a heating pad and a herbal thing in front of it. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I have several that I travel with that you could put in the microwave, and they've got herbs in them. They kind of
Yes.
smell funny after a while, but they smell like every time I heat them up, somebody goes, "Are you cooking ham?" So that tells me that it's got clove in it, a lot of clove, right?
Oh.
But herbs are supposed to help as well if you can get it directly to the skin. So they're a little like they got little seeds in them so that the seeds heat up too. So it's pretty. I tried it. I like it. It travels. It's a little heavy, but it travels well. And
It is nice, and I just thought that since it wasn't going away for some days, I thought I'd just put it on.
yeah, just relax and chill out. Have a cup of warm tea as well, or
Yeah.
coffee, or whatever.
I just finished my coffee.
Yeah, finish your coffee. It's just we're talking about how things have changed in the past 2 months, and we've talked about Hong Kong, and then I heard some rumors that you guys might have had a little breach or a little climb in the new infectious rate. What's the
We
word?
have 4 Pakistani guys who came back from Pakistan, and so they've been isolated. I mean, they've been sort of tracked and isolated. I don't know anything more than that, but I spoke to my sister yesterday, who's in Mumbai, and their neighbor on top got this thing, and he's in hospital. Not serious, but he's in hospital. So the whole building is now sort of sealed up. And the other thing that happened yesterday was we had a sort of a virtual alumni gathering. So the Business Management Institute that I passed out from, we all met up with the guys in the States and the guys in Australia and all over the world. So we all got up and got together, and one of the chaps there, also in Mumbai, a place called Vadala, on his road, 24 cases.
Wow.
Road, 24 cases. So, it's we even for my in-laws, the same building. I just been to my in-laws' house. In that building, it's quite a tall building. But we had somebody in that building who had it some weeks ago, but he's fixed now. So I think we just got to get used to it. When I first heard that my sister's neighbor had it, I was a bit upset. But we had these calls, and then I heard this other guy from Mumbai who said, in the lane there were 24. So I was saying, my sister's not too bad then. But you just got to get used to it. For a moment I was upset, but now I'm over it. I just told them what our experience of how to handle it, and we just.
The thing is it's contained. It's not like it flared up to tens of thousands of people like they have in Russia right now, or because when you look at the worldometer dates, those are what happened yesterday or overnight, right? So the data that we were looking at a few minutes ago before you joined us, it showed that Russia had 11,000 new cases overnight. So
it's Russia. I'm amazed that Putin let this slip like this. He's normally fairly smart.
I'm surprised because he's so mean, right? That's what everyone tells me. He's too mean to let the virus into the country. I don't know him, but I know people who left the country, right? And they, but their things are. This is what they told me. That's got that he won't let it in. Like he'll kill it before it can come in. But it's just to tell you that this disease, this virus, is not prejudiced, and it don't care who you are, right?
Doesn't care who you are.
So you can sit there and say you're going to get it under control all you want. We saw the U.S., fail.
If you see the Russia graph right now on the screen,
just astonishing, isn't it?
And you can see it started from somewhere in April. It was like 19th of April. They were under some thousands, and then it grows like anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have been doubling their cases. maybe it was they're playing like what happened in Italy and France initial time, but they are doubling it with multiple thousand numbers now, and right now they are around 200,000 cases reported.
My God, just
And
unbelievable.
it's if you
Is
see
that
it,
right? Right, the deaths?
29th of April, they were less than 100,000. Now they are more than 200,000.
200,000.
Wow. That's, I mean, so again, if I think with this particular disease, and if we got the infectious disease doctor on with us, he would probably agree. You just can't be overconfident.
Yes, you can't.
So, and even with them testing they're testing daily at the White House, daily, which tells you that's what is necessary to re-enter to work, right? Is they're testing daily, and we're still getting infections in the White House. So, and some people it's not as bad, and other people it is. And I think we need to really take a long look at the people who got through it with less pain or less troubles and faster. We need to take a look at their DNA. We need to take a look at their immunity system. And look who we got. Oh my God, you look so beautiful, Isabella.
Thank you. Your hair looks gorgeous today, Kim.
Well, thank you. It's growing.
It's stunning.
I have no idea what to do with it every day. It just keeps, if you look at all my photos for 4 years, it's always been here. So I have no idea, but thank you. You look stunning and glowing. How's your
Thank
job?
you. It's complete. I can yawn again, so I'm fine.
Isn't that something we take for granted?
Yeah. Yeah. I can eat like hard food, so I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah.
I know. I've been there, and for those of us who've been there, I was really sympathizing with you. You were such a trooper last week.
I was so miserable for like a whole week because I love talking, and then like the moment the tooth came out, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be really hard.
I think your whole family loves talking. I met your mother too. She's a sweetheart, and I don't know if she remembers me, but she is such a sweetheart. She does, doesn't she?
Yeah. She talks about you.
Got a very talented family too, by the way. So anyway, we have because it's Mother's Day, we have 2 little troopers that are going to come on the show. There were several others, but Mother's Day kind of came first. But I'm excited because this kids show is going to just keep growing and inspire the children to think smart, right? We're going to inspire them to think past all of this, to not have fear. And I think
especially take these kinds of things forward, because even though coronavirus is spreading so quickly, there's flu, there's always things that you can catch. And if we keep washing our hands and all of those things, and if kids take that forward, especially into school, then these kinds of things can hopefully be avoided in the future if adults can wash their hands, And
I want to tell you what, I went to the doctors for the first time in 2 months. I just finally caved in, and because I have monthly treatments, and they figured it out and was able to get me in, and I was scared. But their whole system and processing into the doctor's office is different. No more people waiting in the waiting room. But here's what I found interesting. Everything I touched, I had to then gel my hands. Everything. Like if they put the oxygen meter on me, when it was taken off, I had to wash my hands. When I touched the door, I had to wash my hands. When I touched I had to wash my hands before I took the mask out and put it on my face. I had to wash my hands when I put the robe on, right? Because I moved around. So I felt like I was washing or sanitizing my hands every 3 to 5 minutes. It was insane.
Yeah. But it's like that preventative attitude that we need to have constantly, because like I said, even though it's Corona right now, there's always something out there. It's not as easy to catch as Corona, but there's always something. I mean, how many tummy bugs do you get that is actually caused from something that you've touched, or someone who's cooked it and they haven't washed their hands. There's all those small things that I think now we're realizing that we've taken those things for granted, where there are germs all around us. All those things we actually learn in school is real life, and there are germs everywhere.
And so you're young enough to share this with the children, and they'll believe you because they're like, oh my God, mom talks about it. What does mom know? She's 30 years old. And then you got, a young person coming out and go, you know what, all that stuff that they taught us in school is true. And I think you're just, it's not even the next generation or anything like that. Somebody had labeled this the lost generation because we're going to be losing out on a lot of education right now for a couple of months. But I don't see it as the lost generation. I see it as we have to move it forward, like you said, new vision. And I kept saying 2020, right, is perfect vision, right? New vision. That's how we were entering this year. We all had high hopes in businesses because we were just branding 2020. But I think new vision, period, right? Look how clean our earth is. Our earth is so clean, it's cold today. Okay, we talked about global warming being a problem. I am a little bit worried now because I woke up to frost, okay? And it's just, but the earth is feeling it. And I think we got silver linings, right? And then go, okay. And like you said, better practices, wash our hands. I'm going to miss the hugging. I really am going to miss it. But
yeah, I think, my generation is quite like a touchy-feely generation. We give everyone hugs. And for me, I don't like people touching me. I don't like touching people unless I really like them. And I've got like a big bubble of people where I just want to hug you. So I feel like that can go forward. But it's always just being like precautionary. And I think we kind of have lost like old values, especially in my generation, where it's just like everyone, it's like there's no barriers, there's no more lines, where I think my generation is slowly realizing that we need those lines. We need to be careful with everyone and anyone that we're around. But I do think that my generation and the one just above me, like the 30-year-olds I think we're going to change what the world is. I think because, we say that, I am the future leaders, and it's like, we are going to change how things work, because everyone is doing eco-friendly. Everyone is, trying to, eat less meat to help the environment, all of these small things. And I think now seeing all of these amazing things that the world is experiencing because we're not doing anything, I think,
exactly.
We need, like, I think you were saying, a yearly, like, sabbatical. And the world just needs to take a break.
And how hard would that be, right? How difficult is that to just say everyone, because, a lot of companies do that. A lot of the great companies that have their employees are some of the best in the world, and they're all expected to take months of sabbaticals, like almost a year's worth of a sabbatical after 5 years of service. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Right, because you'll come back more creative, more refreshed. It's just, and the earth needs this 1 week. Yes, let's 1 week and have a shutdown. Let's don't trash anything. Let's think about it, pray, whatever. Build
the
our
pollution from industries as well would be
right. I mean, just all too often we read about the damages we've done to the earth, but I find it interesting that we're dealing with something totally different now. The earth, I think, is enjoying it. I was listening to some people talk about the animals are friendlier, like they've had lions walking down the street in India.
Yeah.
I know, just walking down the street. The bears are out. The deer are wandering more freely, even in our backyard. I haven't seen the fox lately. I think the fox is kind of curious, like, what's going on? I don't trust you, humans. But, I know the fox is still out there, but the fox is a little more slyer, right? And bigger doubter. But the animals are acting different.
I saw this funny picture. It was a cartoon of dogs looking at the human beings saying, I wonder why they are wearing muzzles these days.
That's a good one. I can just see that. That is fabulous to me. I can't imagine what the animals are thinking, right?
I saw this photograph of this little sausage dog who had to go to the vet and get a bandage on his tail because he sprained his tail from wagging so much because his owners were home. So he was so happy that they were finally home. So he sprained his tail.
Oh my God.
It's the cutest thing.
I mean, these are the things that we have to look at, right? Is the silver lining in all of this, because there's just, you can't make this stuff up. You know?
No.
And I just think we've got so much to look forward to. You know, there are a lot of people suffering right now, and they're suffering because they've been home alone. The kids are probably driving every parent crazy. In fact, I read a story already of a parent who thought they had this, right? You know, I got this, I could teach at home, I got this, but they're just like pulling their hair out. And that's what we want to do. We want to start giving the kids something to do, something to look forward to, not just cartoons, but interactive. We're going to build on this show, you know, and grow it so that the kids can engage with Isabella, who is this lovely spirit, and has this just beautiful voice for children. And I think and I'm not just saying the voice that comes out of her, which is fabulous. It's her heart, right? And her mind of what she wants to share with children. And that's what's important today, is to build that foundation.
A thought just occurred to me, you know, when we were kids, we went to school and we all had to wear uniforms and listen to the teacher and things like that. Maybe the time for school is, you know, the concept of that kind of school is over. Maybe, you know, your first teacher is always your mother.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, Isabella could then tune her entertainment into edutainment, you know?
Yeah.
So that
edutainment. There you go.
Which makes it more fun, and there is social interaction. And those kids, these are the modern kids. They understand, you know, they understand screens, and they understand, you know, then talking to people. They're still socializing in a different way. Okay, they're not pinching one another in the school, but but they're talking and they're teasing one another. They're doing their stuff just through the internet. And so what they could do is to change the face of education, to make it more fun and to make it more to encourage more open thinking, because children come up, they say the darndest things, you know, and it's just a thought that maybe this is the great liberation of education. Who knows?
Well, yeah, you know, there's a lot to be said about learning from home, but then there are some parents, and not to put them down, but they're just not qualified to teach their children. But maybe if we can
or they work full time, you know.
Yeah. And
so many
that's why I said it's not my qualifications. I love being part of the PTA. I would be at the school anytime they asked me to be there. I even taught the art history class. There's a special art history class that the 5th graders had to have before they could move on to the next level. And I did teach that. But to be a full-time teacher, that was not my thing. There's just some people who can't, and these parents who are expected to drive their children to learn at home, it's a struggle. I hear them talking about it. I do want to share something with you guys, because it is Mother's Day and I'm real proud of this. There were years that I was not a green thumb at all. So this is from my rose arbor that was built for me 20 years ago, Mother's Day present. The rose arbor was built for me. It's huge. And the roses were taken from a vine from my mother-in-law's bushes, which were about 50 years old. And we intertwined them. There were 2 different ones, and they grew the arbor. And about 3 years ago, because it was just so full all the time, all the roses died. The whole vine just we don't know why. And so I went out real quick and clipped a couple of the stems, right, and rooted them. And so I managed, they're back and they're growing again.
Wonderful.
So what a blessing for me to walk outside, see the nature, survive, right? It because the vine got a horrible virus. This is why I'm telling this story.
Yeah.
Is the vine got a horrible virus, but I didn't give up on it, right? I was able to rescue it and get it to grow again. And now I'll try to get the photos loaded up, but it's just it's arbored again. It's beautiful, and it made me feel good to see it when I woke up the other morning, and I was like, wow. All right, I'm glad I said that. So that's what we have to do. We're still we've got Luna, and where's Amishi? We've got 2 children today, our 2, Luna and Amishi. There is a little boy that wants to come on, but he could not make it until later because his dad's got him doing tutoring on Mother's Day. Right? But
maybe he'll be like really smart and he'll become a doctor because of all of these things. So
right, you know, and you know, we got Rosie with us today, but we got these 2 beautiful girls. They love you. They wanted to come, you know, they want to be part of your show. I mean, you've got Wonderful. 2 stars with Isabella. So we're gonna cut over to our children's show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you our Isabella and Rosie Kid Show Hour. Do you want a title for this? We haven't talked about this, have we?
Oh gosh, can I get back to you on that one?
This is what startups are all about, but I don't think this is very unprofessional. I think you get to see what the world of TV is like. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Isabella and Rosie, and we're going to take a back seat and enjoy.
Fantastic. Forgetting kids, we're just waiting. There might be a technical thing. And if you're watching, hello. Our main topic for today is going to be coronavirus and kids' opinions on it and their advice, what it's like not seeing their friends. Of course, it's Mother's Day, and I hope we've got someone coming on now. No, we don't. Okay. So whoever's watching, obviously life has changed a lot, and if you have kids, I'm not sure, you know, how you've explained coronavirus to them, and you know what difficulties you're having, whether it's teaching them at home, if you've got an online tutor. Obviously, there's all these struggles, especially with full-time parents who work, and now suddenly, you know, you have to help teach your children. So it's a struggle and a mind shift and life shift for everyone around the world. But I suppose it's what we all have to go through and what we all have to do. I'm just trying to get Kim on the screen with me so we can have someone to chat to.
Wow. I'm here, and you know what? So let's talk about that. Well, let's talk about some of the things we want the children to learn. What is very in your mind, because you're a younger person than me. I mean, I'm an older mom, so you know what I tell my children. But you're still kind of you know what it's like to be these little kids. Though you're older, you're a mature one.
Yeah.
And we heard some good stuff about you this week. Did you listen? No, you didn't. No. Oh, your sister was on the show spreading good rumors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, she was telling us all of these wonderful things about you and your career moves and everything. But if you were their age and having to be at home, what would you tell them?
Sure, it's a tough one because I think even us as adults don't actually understand what's going on. I don't think we get it because it's brand new. No one in our lifetime has done something like this. I think the main thing is just for the kids not to be scared because it's suddenly now, I mean, I read this, I don't know that this is a kid show, but I read this horrible story of a young boy who was overwhelmed and he ended his own life, which his dad said in this article. He knows that his kid didn't realize the consequences of what he was doing. And I think that's kind of an essence of what this whole thing is kids don't understand the consequences of all of these things that are happening, okay, well, we're not going to school, so now because you're not going to school, you have to learn at home. And if you're having issues with that, perhaps the child doesn't want to learn at home.
There's your fans. There's your fans, Isabella.
Hello, Amishi. And Iris?
No, Luna.
Luna.
Iris
This Iris. Hi,
Iris.
Mommy Iris. And hello, Luna. Look at your princess crown, Luna. You're a princess.
And Amishi's dressed in pink.
Look at you. How are you doing today, Amishi?
She's quiet.
Why are you quiet today? Can you say hello?
Oh no.
Is it because you want to say hello to someone special? Would you like to say hello to Rosie? Yeah? And then can you say hello to everyone if Rosie comes out? Do you remember how to say hello? When I say 1, 2, 3, what do you say? Hello. Hello, Rosie. Okay, so we're going to do it. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Rosie. Hello. And Amishi, hello.
And we've got someone new here, Rosie. That there is Luna.
Hello, Luna. I love your name. Luna. It's such a nice name. And Amishi, how are you today? I love that you're wearing pink. It's Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Iris and Amishi's mom.
Thank you, guys.
What did you do for Mother's Day? Did you do something special?
What'd you do, Luna?
I'm gonna make a traditional today thing. It will be very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can make it. It's so simple. We just need a doll. We just need a thing. Everything can be very simple of me.
Well, did you give your mom a big, big hug and say Happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mother's Day. That's good. And did you tell your mom how much you love her? Yes, I love her so much.
That's good.
Mama.
That's very, very good. So, Amishi, today and Luna, I wanted to ask, what is it like not seeing your friends?
Not seeing my friends. That's a little bit. I'm not seeing my friends, but
Did you hear what she asked?
I got.
Can you hear her?
But you understand why you're not seeing them, because you're keeping them safe. Remember, like last time we said that we're being like superheroes.
Last time we were superheroes, but now it's a new week.
It is a new week. And has anything changed?
Yes.
What's changed for you?
I changed just my mind to make a beautiful for my grandmother thing. I'm making a grandmother thing. It's so simple. That's so cool, Amishi. And are you still washing your hands? Yes, I'm still washing my hands. Yeah, and how long should you wash your hands for? 20 seconds. 20 seconds, Luna. Aren't you clever? Luna, how old are you? 4. 4? Okay, so you and Amishi are the same age. Yes. That's very cool. So, Luna,
have you heard Anishi's washing hands song?
No.
The song that Amishi sings when she's washing her hands. Amishi, do you want to sing it for us?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Coronavirus is so naughty. We just want to wash our hands because this is so germs. Coronavirus will go after day when the minds is wrong and then go.
And was that 20 seconds?
Yes, 20 seconds.
You're so cool. Luna, do you have a song that you sing when you wash your hands?
Yes,
Can you sing it for us?
yes.
Okay, go.
Tops and bottoms, in between, rub them all together, now they're clean.
That is
Yes.
so cool. Well done, Luna. So I think if we sing Luna's song and then Amishi's song, both of them together, then we'll definitely get rid of the germs because that'll be for 40 seconds.
Rosie, you sing my song.
I don't remember the words. Can I sing it with you? So you sing it and I'll sing it with you.
Okay.
Okay, go. Okay, go, Anishi.
Wash your hands
Wash
again.
your hands again.
My love is from.
And go, carry on.
My beauty is my
How can you
duty.
get like in the
My
middle of this?
happiness is just from me. I just picked that from my light. It's running bubbles right. I just happiness with Rosie.
I'm in the song. I've made it, Bella.
So Amishi and Luna, when you wash your hands, what happens to the germs?
They
wash away.
get away from our hands.
That's right, they wash away, they go away. So all the germs that we may have carried throughout the day go away. So if we're playing in the garden, afterwards we should wash our hands. Before we eat, we should wash our hands. If we're cooking, we should wash our hands.
That's good.
So that we can stay clean, because with the coronavirus, we need to stay clean. And what else should we do? Should we wear a mask?
Yes, you remember.
Okay, and when you sneeze, can I just go, achoo?
No!
Not like
Put your elbow.
have to do this.
Achoo!
Yes, that's the right way to. Sometimes I forgot too.
Oh, I also forget
my mouth.
sometimes. Sometimes I go, and I remember. And then for Rosie and I, should Rosie and I be close like this, or should we keep some distance?
We should not go. We can, when we are sleeping, we should go. If our mothers say you must go to us, then we should go. Then
So, Bella, because we are in a house together and because we are quarantined together, we can be close. But if we go outside, we should stay away from people by at least a meter.
Rosie,
Yes, Anishi.
Rosie, just bring your mask and show to Salona.
Sorry?
Show to Salona your mask.
Oh, my mask. I've got a different color today. Bella, put it on. Hold on.
Here, Luna,
We're going to put the mask on nicely.
Oh, does it look for the one in the car?
Luna,
I have a question. When you're wearing your mask and you need to sneeze, should I still use my elbows?
yes.
Yeah, because it should become a habit to always use.
Oh.
Exactly. And when we see one of our friends on the street, must we hug them or must we just wave?
We should wave or wish.
Yes, Luna, we must wave.
So I thought I've got a really cool song. Remember last week? Hold on, Rosie.
Okay.
Remember last week I sang the song from Moana. I thought today I could sing a song from The Little Mermaid. Have you seen The Little
I
Mermaid?
can still hear you, but I cannot see you.
Remember Ariel.
Boom!
Ariel, yeah, Princess Ariel, the mermaid in the ocean with the red crab